Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video here at TrendFX. My name is Judge, aka the Homie Fletcher, and welcome to the video. Right, so just gonna dive real quick into what we're gonna do. As you would know from the title of this video, it's just a weekly outlook on pairs and some trades that we could probably get ourselves involved in for the upcoming week of next week, to make some profits, make some gains. As you know, anyone that's in the VIP group last week, the week prior was great, and the last week, which was the week we just had, we did have a little drawdown around the area of around 3% for the week overall. So it's been a really rough week, the last one passed, right? So we're just gonna get into it right now. Let's see if we can make some gains, finish the month on a good note. We are up overall for the month already. We did have a 15% winner, 15% overall win from the week prior, and even the week before that we did have some gains as well. Overall, we are still up with the minor week drawdown we did have. But that's just part of trading. As you know, the markets have been a little bit harder to navigate with everything going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation, oil prices fluctuating up and down, and all these other fundamental themes just clashing together, causing a very weird market dynamic, right? So we have been basically treading through muddy waters as best as possible, and we're still coming up on top, right? So that's the great thing about it, right? Even in times of economic distress or uncertainty, we as forex traders are still able to make money overall, right? And that's the great thing about trading, I would say to anyone. And so let's just dive in real quick into it. I'm just gonna pull up right now here my FX calendar. We're gonna look and see what are some of the news events we do have coming out that will be highly impactful for price, right? And this is usually what I'm doing right now with everything going on. I'll use the fundamental data, the more so high impactful fundamental themes coming out, right? So that we'll be able to gain on the momentum that we would see, or we should, or usually see at the release of these news, such as right here you can see on the 21st of March, right, Monday, we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 12, and then we have Govlo's speech as well, right? And as you know, these two people, right, are they are the ones on top of their game in terms of, all right, we listen to them and what they have to say about the central banks in their respective countries and economies, right? And as investors, portfolio investors, if you're looking at big banks or hedge fund owners, we rely heavily on what they say to get a general outlook of where the economy is and where it's going to be, right? And depending on what they say, it can have a very positive or negative impact on its respective currencies, right? So US dollar and the Aussie dollar as well, right? So you can see we do have some fundamental themes coming out. So we have the speeches. That's something we should be aware of. We also have ECB speech as well. If we're just scrolling down here on the calendar for the upcoming week, we have inflation rate for the GDP. We do have good numbers for inflation, so this should actually impact price positively for the GBP. So that's something we could look for as well. GBP buys. We do have ECB non-monetary policy meeting. This is marked as medium, but it's usually quite highly impactful as well. We have Chair Powell speaking more again, and some market composites. And we're just looking for more here, more ECB, more GBP stuff, right? And we also have the Fed initial jobless claims, right? We have initial jobless claims as well, and we also have some more Fed speeches. These people, however, I would say that their opinions do not weigh as heavily as Fed Chair Powell, right, and Jerome Powell. So we do have some fundamental, a great amount of events happening. So we would want to trade, or at least I would say I would like to trade not independent from these events, but with the event themselves. So on the day the event comes out, either we take USD buys or AUD buys or something like that, and we try not to go against the trend that we are already seeing displayed, because more than likely we'll see a follow along with the trend as well. Depending on what they have to say, this may vary, but overall we have been seeing a little bit more of a performing AUD dollar, right? We have been seeing a lot more performance from the Aussie dollar compared to the US dollar. Even though we did have a rate hike last week, we did see that the overall strength of the USD did decrease, sorry, for whatever reason, right? So this was around this area right here on the 16th of March. As you can see, when that news came out, price actually pushed down and we had some trades on this. We did close at break even, so when price pulled back up, we got stopped out, but wasn't for any loss or anything like that. Thank God. Price started moving up again here, and as you can see, the AUD was a lot stronger than the US dollar, even though we did have a rate hike. Now the thing about rate hikes, sometimes they do come out. We do have, strength within that area or going down into what area it is in favor of that currency, right? Leading up to the rate hike itself, because we have it as highly expected that rates would hike. But we usually do get a continuation of that move, not a total reversal as we saw along with all these other US dollar pairs, right? It was a total reversal. I don't think anyone in the market was actually prepared for something like that, right? That being said, we were able to make some profits. This was one right here. We were able to come out here and profit at 3%. We were also able to come out again with break even on the other one as well. And that was at the first time when the news came out. Price spiked up as it should have in favor of the US dollar, but it just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just switches position, right? So entering this week, let's just get into some trades. I'll be really looking at AUD buys and Euro and GBP buys, right? That is what my pre-analysis is, right? So we do have a stronger AU dollar, right? A stronger Aussie dollar. I don't know why I keep saying AU dollar. We have a stronger Aussie dollar, right? This is apparent over the board, especially against the JPY. As you can see, this trend just continued, price continued marching up. If we look here on the daily, right, we broke this area of significance right here, this resistance area. Price has come into this zone multiple times and rejected from it, right? And this is the daily chart. So you can see that this area has a lot of importance, right? So another thing you could be looking at is probably a pullback, right? A retest, and then a continuation moving back up to these highs right here. One of the things that we could possibly get ourselves involved in on the Aussie dollar is for a short reversal of the overall trend, right? A short reversal being a pullback. As you can see, price did push quite favorably in the Aussie dollar, right? We did get this bullish movement up. We got this break above here. At this point, it is clear that buyers are in control. Price started moving up from this area, right? We made this high at market close. So it depends on where do we open once the market does open back. One of the things that we could possibly get is that this resistance is maintained. Maybe we had hedge fund owners, large banks, we had positions taken out from the trade as we reached the year and the market closed. So when we will open with a gap, more so to the downside, where we could possibly see a retracement back into that area where price previously broke out of, right? And then a continuation moving up. So a trade like this will be something that I think is worthwhile to get into. Obviously, we don't know where the gap would lead us at, but let's say if we do open on market open right around this area, this is a trade that's possible that would have my attention, right? Price come into this area, we see price respecting this high, and then we see a movement back downwards to around this level where we could get better entries to continue with that bullishness upwards, right? So this is something that has the potential to play out on the ADJPY. So this is something that I would look out for, possibly entering early if we do see a maintenance of this support, this resistance area. Then yes, this is a trade that I would likely get myself involved in. All right, so I'm gonna mark that orange. Right, and orange is for like the trades that I'll look to actually get myself involved in. All right, 80 CAD. 80 CAD. I also have a buy opinion on 80 CAD. However, as I said previously, we did have a strong 80 overall. So now we do have a chance for possible pullbacks. Now, I'm a person, I don't like going against the trend, obviously, but I'm also practical with the possibility of things that could happen, right? Usually, in a case like this, we could possibly see a continuation in favor of the AED. It's not uncommon that we will see a continuation, even if we do have an overall bullishness running in any market pair. But at the same time, there's the possibility for possible pullbacks. Now, I would be more interested in getting on this trade, or maybe a little bit more certain, if we could see price push past this area right here. Right? Why do I use this area as a point of a possible entry? Because now we want to see that the AD now has enough momentum to continue with that push upwards, right? So if we're looking overall on the overall chart, what we like to see is a tap back into this zone right here at 0.94541, right? So if we just draw this up here, right into that area. Now, as we could see, and we stated before, we had a very bullish AUD, right? We didn't have any rate hikes or anything for the AUD as of yet. So it's really unexplained in nature why we have such a strong AUD. Now, we do have reasons as to why, with the Russia-Ukraine situation going on, the higher demand for energy supplies, oil supplies, as Russia does supply a large amount of oil globally, right, to many economies. Hence, we've seen surging oil prices. We saw a more performing CAD moving along, right, in the earlier stages as well. We saw a higher performing Canadian dollar. But now we're at a point where this fundamental news and the impact of it has been causing a lot of shifty market movements, right? A lot of volatility as well. So we need to be a little bit more careful about the areas that we choose to enter our trades. As you know, I do trade with a tight stop loss, as it allows me to gain a greater yield in terms of my ROI. But I need to be a little bit more cautious of this, given the situation that we are facing currently. That being said, if price does have enough momentum to continue, one of the things that we like to see, and obviously not just me, but also the big banks, and we also have other number of retail traders, right? As you know, when we do market markups and stuff, we need to think about the psychology of, okay, I'm looking for this, but what should I look for, right? I want to buy or I want to sell, right? The AD is overextended at these points of areas. You can look for a possible reversal. That is my thinking. But I also need to put myself in the other shoe, where it is such as, okay, we have a lot of momentum in favor of the AD. We could possibly see a continuation here. Obviously, we're not going to ignore the key factors that we do have, such as price breaking this area right here, this zone, where it had multiple retests right around this area here. Then we had a bullish push right from here as price was pushing up with the momentum, right? Again, that is the same thing that we could possibly see happening here. Price came here, we had this overextended move, right? And price continued pushing upward even more. So we're not going to be ignorant of the fact that we could possibly see that happening here again. However, we could be a little bit more careful. As you know, again, we do have a lot of uncertainties playing into the market. Hence, these positions that we look to take or something that may have worked out prior, maybe the month before, yeah, this would have possibly worked up immediately, or maybe we will get the reversal, who knows, right? But we need to be a little bit more careful, make a little bit more of a, get some more confluences for our possible entries if we do choose a position on this. So something like this, I'd like to see that push past here. As you see, price pushed up, came back, we had this retest, we closed with a bullish candle right here. Again, we have to account for market gap. We don't know where that would be, right? But if we do see a pass and a bullish close above this candle, that shows me, okay, we're closing above this resistance right here that price made. Hence, we could possibly see a continuation up into those previous highs, right? So then a possible entry would be something like, all right, price closes up here, we get that close, we put our stop right below the last candle wick, because at that point, we're looking for that bullishness to continue. We don't have a reason. There should be no reason that price actually looks to make a dip back and just, stop us out of the trade once it does make that pass right above here. So AD CAD, I am looking for a buy. However, I would be looking more carefully for like a push above here and then a continuation moving upwards, right? That would be like my take for that buy, especially given the market uncertainty that we do have right now. So far we have a possible 80 CAD buy, and we also have 80 JPY sell. As I said, with the 80 JPY, I would like to see a little bit more maintenance of this support, this resistance, sorry, right? Because as you know, a lot of times when we do have market dynamics like this, right, we could take this as a possible support right here along the overall bullish momentum we are seeing, right? Price came into this area, may maintain it, and at that point we could possibly get even more of a push up, maybe something like this. This is also possible, right? So I'm not arrogant or ignorant to the fact that this is also a possible move that we could see. Again, it's all dependent on market gaps and all of that, but it's always nice to be aware of the two, of having two directions where price can move. Price can move either up or down or range. You should build a bias for two, right? And the one with more confluences or with a higher probability, as you see, we have an overextension. AD is pretty strong right now. We have the Governor speech coming up as well, where they will talk about their stance on increasing interest rates, whether they're going to do it more aggressively or not, stuff like that, the central bank take and everything, right? So all that will play within the price action for the AED, right? AED NCD, I'm not looking at this right now because these are two very strong currencies in terms of everything that's been going on. The strength is relative to each other, right? So you can see right around here, we did have this move up from the 16th, right? But overall, generally, price has just been dancing around, basically, right? So I'm not looking for anything really on the 80 NZD side of things. All right, so continue with the video. 80 USD overall, can't really say a specific direction I would choose for this pair as right of this moment. You see price just actually went up pretty strongly after that USD news came out of a hike rate increase. So yeah, this was a really interesting move to see. Even though we did have that overall bullishness for the US dollar, price just rejected and head back on up. We did test this zone as a support right here. We could possibly see a push continuation of price, who knows. All right, let me just clear this chart up. Currently, I'm not looking for anything in particular on the 80 USD side of things. We did have this high right here, and this is the high made for, this is the high made thus far for the year. And price has now reapproached it right here, this area. So we could possibly see a continuation again in favor of the AU dollar and a move higher up. However, we should not ignore the fact that the Fed has actually increased its interest rate. Again, this is something that they will bring up during this Fed Chair Powell testifies or he speaks, right? So I'm not too eager on entering AD/USD right at this moment. CAD CHF, we're just scrolling about, right? We did try to take a sell right around this area. This was again on the 15th opening, right? Price came down. We had a close below. Was looking for a continuation move lower, but as you see, it just repelled right off of this area right here, rejected, and continued moving higher. So this is something that I should have paid attention to right across here, where price formed this sort of support, and then we had this bullish candle push higher. It was possible that we could see a bullish push right around this area again. I was not, at the point of time, I was not looking at it. All right, this is some of the things that happen sometimes when you're looking to take trades. If we're looking right up this moment on the daily, we did form this high, right? And we do have this area being broken here. All right, so we have this area being broken here, this bullish push up. We could get a retest of this area for a possible continuation move higher. All right, so if we're just going back here, and we go back even more on, if we go to the 1 hour, the lower time frames, this is what we had. Price started bouncing in between this zone, right? And now we're here. So we could possibly see a push lower, retest, and then a continuation move back upwards, right? As you know, price has been a little bit more shifty this month. So it is possible that we could see that play happening right down to this area, or we could even see a continuation lower, right? Even all the way down here. That is something that we could possibly see happening. But in terms of getting an entry on this, I would say depending on how the market opens again, let's not ignore the fact that this is a sort of a strong support area, right? Price pushed right here bullishly, retested, and rejected this area, came up, rejected, retested, right? And then we had a deeper retest right here along this overall bullish move. So it is possible that we could see a continuation lower right here on this candle. Right, this is a possible trade right here that I will probably get myself into actually. Right, so this is a possible trade right here as price breaks this low. If we could get a break below this area here too, then we would most likely see a continuation. So if we get a bearish close, below this area right here, then we would probably see a continuation even lower, and probably could even extend this all the way down here. Right, so this is something that I'll be looking forward to as well on CAD CHF. With everything happening, we do have sort of strength playing on this the Swiss franc, but that remains to be seen if it will be maintained overall as we enter into this new week. All right, and so I'll put a alert here. If we do get a close into this area, I'll be actually looking for a possible trade and even possibly letting this actually run for even a lower period, right? So even all the way down here for possibly for the rest of the week, right? This is something that I could see probably happening, right? But that all depends if we do get a bearish close into the zone, not like the multiple wick rejections we've been getting from this area. We want to see a bearish candle closing fully into that zone. Then we could possibly see a continuation moving lower if the second candle formed does not reject and push higher off of that area, right? So this is another possible trade I'll look at too. All these JPY pairs, as you can see, the overextension as the JPY, the Japanese yen was weaker. This was another trade that we did have here on your AED. This played out pretty well, right? Two entries on this, one right here and then one right into this area right here, where price actually pushed even lower, right? We did get a continuation move downwards. This was pretty nice. So depending on what we could see, again, a pullback from this possible area, that is something that could happen. If we're just looking over to the left here, we could see that we did have this overall bullishness. Price pushed up. Let's go on the 4-hour. Let's see if we can make that a little bit more clearer. Right. If we're looking here on the 4-hour, you can see, right, price was pushing up out to this area after we had this strong bearishness, right? And this was again in March with everything that was going on. The AED was stronger overall. Price started pushing up here. We got this push right here. For on the candle rejection, price continuing up. We formed this resistance right around this area. Price pulled back down. Again, respecting this area right here, right? So now we could say that this area of support has some significance with the overall market movement. Price pushed up. We got this pushed above. Failure to maintain that area. And then we got this continuation lower here again. So one of two things could happen here. If we do have that overall strength on the AED continuing, we could see a break of this area and price possibly coming back to these lows right here. Let's just mark it. These lows right here. Or we could see a maintenance of this support area and price rejects, maybe comes back up, and then we get a continuation downward, right? So maybe we might get a short pullback right here, right? And then a continuation move downward. Again, with everything happening, I am not going to go against the trend, especially that we do have this strong bearishness playing into the market. More than likely, we would continue with that bearishness on price. So this is something that has a lot of potential to actually happen as well too. Right, we can see price reject and continue downwards, a close below, and then a continuation move downwards with the overall bearishness that we've been seeing displayed. Right, so this is something that's also possible as well. Again, these are in favor of the AED, right? So these are some of the things that we're seeing right now. The AED strength overall in the market has been pretty dominant. Yeah, overall we had euro weakness, right? We do have the speech and stuff coming up. However, I won't say that would have any large impact on price at this moment, given everything that's happening. This was another trade that we did take right here. No, actually, we didn't take this trade, but it was one of my trade setups as well for a possible Euro USD sell. Let me just get rid of this, remove this here. All right. We did have this GBP AED as well from last week. One of the trades that we did take didn't actually hold it, right? Or else it would have played out perfectly and even lower for overall 7% winner. Yeah, but didn't actually hold the trade, came out somewhere right around here as price started to push up a little bit. These were the trades that we had earlier on them as well, right here, as price pushed lower, and price came right here, retested, so push lower, was looking for this lower push, sorry. All right. So this was what we're looking for, a breakout of this area for a possible sell continuation. I did end up taking a trade early, somewhere right around this area, and you see price just started to continue pushing upwards, right? So yeah, that was an unfortunate loss as well. And yeah, that's basically it for this, guys. So one of the things that I like to do, and I'll always continue doing on because it has worked for me in the past and it will continue working for me in the future. Given that this month has not been the best month, actually it's been my worst month in maybe a year and a half thus far, with everything. We've been having profitable weeks after week after week after week. This is apparent if you look into the Discord channel, you join the community, and you just scroll up, you see all the posts, all the trades that are taken. Overall, every week has been a profitable week, 5% or more. This has been the first week that I've had a drawdown for a pretty long time, right? So yeah, it's a humbling experience knowing that, okay, even in times where, you've just been having a profitable week after week after week, you could still experience drawdown, right? The markets do what it want, right? Same analysis, same concepts, everything, nothing deviating from one another, but the markets just do as it pleases, as it pleases, right? So it's been a humbling experience to have such a losing week, and we've learned a lot from that. Those little losses that we did face, things that we could have possibly done better if we had just been a little bit more patient and holding the trade. It would have worked out in our favor, or if we just waited a little longer instead of looking for early entries, then we would have avoided unnecessary drawdowns as well. Maybe the drawdowns may not be that significant, but at the same time, drawdown is drawdown, and there are ways to prevent that we could have implemented, I could have implemented, to keep myself away from any drawdown at all, right? Or even minimize it even further. So that being said, that is the end of the video. I am looking more forward into the AUD buys. Again, an AUD card. Would like to see that push above. I might get myself involved early on for a small risk, right? But as price pushes higher and we do get a bullish close above this area, I'll be targeting back into those highs with a stop loss right around this area, hovering for a 6% win if price could just continue with that push upwards, right? So that is something I'll be looking forward to. Also, with the AUD JPY, we did have this minor support here, so more than likely we could possibly see price continue to push upwards, right? Overall, this is a sort of a channel trend that we've been seeing. Same thing for the GBP AD before that I just showed just now, right? We could possibly see a continuation here, right? So this is we could possibly see the support being maintained, price push even higher, and then we might get possible pullbacks for a sell opportunity, right? So I'm not being ignorant to the fact that we are seeing a more bullish AD. So yeah, I'm keeping it in mind, guys. Don't worry. And also CAD CHF, if price could just reject, continue moving downwards, and we could even extend this further, and yeah, that could be our trade for the week. Just these trades alone can make our week highly profitable, even wiping out the week prior the negative 4% drawdown. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. Hope you learned something valuable from it and you got some more information of how I think about my trading and my trading style and concepts. Right. That being said, if you do have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section. I was gonna say description. Leave a comment in the comment section. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed already. Let's get that YouTube algorithm working. I got 22 subscribers, and there's a lot more of you guys here, especially from the Discord community. Subscribe, right? Your subscription to my YouTube channel motivates me to make more videos like this, deeper analysis, deeper fundamental analysis as well, to just give you more and more good free information to help you better your trading and your trading strategy, right? So leave a like, leave a comment, some positive reinforcement. I don't usually do these. And also, yeah, subscribe. Let's get our YouTube algorithm working. Let's get more people involved in the community, and let's just grow as a whole and make this one of the best trading communities to be in, to improve your trading, gain profitability, and just keep rising. All right, guys. So that's it. Peace. Hope you have a great trading week if you're trading with me or if you're trading on your own. I just pray that you prosper for this week, and ending your month on a pleasant note is always good. All right, praise God. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.